Hello and welcome to this UniTaster On Demand event, where today we're going to be looking at your option choices. So it's looking at future options, whether that's different types of qualifications, but concentrating on A-level choices and making A-level choices with university in mind. Because what loads of students do when it comes to A-levels is don't think about university when making those choices, and potentially being in the situation where some of the university courses they want to do, they can't do because of A-level choices they've made previously. I am absolutely delighted to be joined today by Savannah Robinson, who is joining us from the University of Leicester. Savannah is a student recruitment officer, and she's going to give us some really good tips when it comes to your option choices. And I'll leave things there, and I'll pass things straight over to Savannah.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, John, for the introduction. I'm Savannah, and I'm going to talk to you about making your future choices. We will go into all those options that are available, but I will be focusing on A-levels. However, all the things we cover and all the questions that I ask you, you can relate to all the things that you're going to do. So I hope you find this really useful. So the first thing to say is it's your future and it's got to be your choice as well. I think I definitely felt it when I was choosing my A-levels. Sometimes it can be really, really difficult when you know your friends are into something else and you want to kind of follow what they're doing and be in their classes. It can be difficult and that can kind of choose where you go. But you need to remember, you know, it's your future. It's going to create your pathway in life, and you need to be aware of the choices you're making and how they might affect, because they can have a big impact on your future, and you want to be making sure you're making informed decisions and doing stuff that you're going to really enjoy as well. So the most important thing to do is definitely start looking at your research. So start asking yourself the questions, you know, if you know what you want to do as a career, or maybe if you are thinking about university, how did you get to that decision? You know, was there anything you looked at? Did you meet someone who had a specific job that really inspired you? What research have you got to make that decision and know that that's the pathway and that's what you need to do to be able to get there? And did you do that recently as well? If you didn't, it might be a good idea to research that again and just make sure that that is the pathway that you need to go on, because sometimes there's various things you can do to get to university, but also to get into those different careers as well. And if you don't know what you want to do, that's completely fine too. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I made my A-level choices, and I think a lot of people are in the same position as well. So don't panic too much, but the most important thing is make sure you're leaving as many doors open for you as possible, so you're not regretting anything at a later stage in life. And I'll go into some of the ways that you can do that as well. The most important thing is give yourself that broad range if you're not sure, and that means that you have so many different options available to you when you're ready to make that decision as well. So just to start off and make sure you're familiar with how this will work, you'll know at the moment you're maybe doing your GCSEs and you're in that GCSE year at school. So that's level 2, your secondary school level. After this, that's when you start making your choices. So you've got the academic side, the A-levels that you might do at college or sixth form, but there's also things like BTECs, NVQs and TLevels, which are more vocational and technical courses that are available as well. And I'll talk about those in a little bit more detail in a second. On the other side of that, there's also the occupational, so the apprenticeships, which are perfect if you maybe know what you want to do and you want to start on that career path already. After this, there's then university, so level 4, and there's various qualifications that you can do at university. There's degree apprenticeships, bachelor's degrees, foundation degrees, and lots more as well. So there's lots of option, and it's really important you think about these and how you're going to get to the different stages as well. So the first one I want to talk about is the A-levels. So this is seen as more of an academic qualification, and it's for 2 years of study. There's approximately 50 subjects available. Some of them will be similar to your GCSEs and you'll be able to continue them, but there's also some really brand new ones as well. I know when I was doing my A-levels, psychology was an option for first time, and that was really exciting to us, and a lot of people were interested in that because it was something new. However, it's really important you do that research and talk to those subject teachers, so you know what's involved with that as well, and if it is going to be something that you're really going to enjoy as well. With A-levels, you make three choices of subject. So you leave it quite open in that way. If you're really torn between subjects at GCSE level, it's really great because it means that you can take 3 subjects. So it kind of means that you don't have to be as torn because there's more options available. And as well as that, if you don't know what you want to do, it allows you to really keep those doors open because you can go into those subjects a lot more at higher level or maybe in a career as well. How this is assessed is it is mainly exams, however this can differ depending on the course that you do. And the grades are usually A star to E. There's also BTEC National Extended Diploma, which is more of a vocational course. This is also 2 years and there's approximately 20 subjects that you can choose from. However, you just choose one subject with this. So you've got to really know what you want to do with this, and it can have quite an impact on what you go to do in later life as well because of this. It's mainly coursework for this, and the grades are distinction star to pass. There's also apprenticeships, like I spoke about a little bit before, and they're occupational, and it's to help you really progress into a career if you've got that career in mind. It's 1 to 4 years, and there's over 280 types, and these can differ depending on where you are in the UK as well. So it's really important you research these if you are considering an apprenticeship. You choose one job, so it does mean you need to know that pathway, and the assessments are on the job, so it's assessing those skills while you're working and you're getting those on the job skills, and this is pass or fail with the grades. Another one to talk about is TLevels, which are a little bit newer than the other qualifications. These are occupational and they're 2 years. It's a mixture, so it has an industry placement for you to get that on the job skill, but as well it's coursework and theory work too. It's 1 subject area again, so it's really good if you know what you're maybe thinking about doing and you want that practical element, and the assessments are occupational and core components as well. The grades of distinction star to pass. And if you do want any more information, you can see on the screen there is a little link that you can go and research, and they'll tell you a lot more about how TLevels work, where you can find them as well, and what they really entail in depth as well. So the next thing we're going to go on to is choosing your A-levels. Like I said, it is going into choosing your A-levels. However, all the questions we ask are relatable to anything else that you may be deciding on. And if you are really torn between 2 types of qualification, hopefully this will help you decide as well what to do. So when you are choosing your A-levels or future options, it can be really, really difficult. If you know exactly what you want to do, it's a lot easier in some cases. But if you're really not sure what you want to do in the future, it can make it really difficult. You need to think about what you're going to really enjoy, so what you're enjoying at the moment maybe, but also what that might lead to as well, because it can have an impact on what you do in later life too. So you need to find that balance. And as well, you've got the option to continue with a subject that you already do and try something new, which can make it a lot harder, especially if you see something there that's quite exciting, but you're not quite sure whether it's a course for you. So what I want you to do in a second is I want you to pause this recording and I want you to ask yourself these questions. What do you really enjoy at the moment, whether that's in school or outside of school as well, if you've got a hobby that you've been doing in the past? What are you doing well in at school as well? Do you want to try something new, and are you aware of the options that your school or college have, and what the choices are with that too? Do you have a specific career or vocation in mind as well? Ask yourself that, or if there's a few, make a list of those too. Is there something that you really want to do at university as well? Maybe university, you know you want to go there, you don't know what you want to do. Maybe you do know what you want to do there, but you just don't know what to do as a career. Or do you just want to leave your options open because you have no idea at all? So ask yourself those questions, write down what you think, or just keep it in your head, whatever is easiest for you. But pause this video now and then have a reflection. So I hope you've all found that really useful, and do go back to that if you are ever struggling. It's quite a good thing to use when you are making your A-level choices. Like I said before, it can be really hard to choose your A-levels or your next path, but think about these things. If you're really enjoying it now, you might enjoy it at A-level as well. It's the things that you're doing, but it's just at a more advanced level. So you probably will enjoy it just as much. And it's really important you do enjoy it too, because sometimes the exams can be really hard going, and knowing that you still find that enjoyable can really help you kind of power through. So bear that in mind, it is really important. Talk to the subject teacher as well. If there's a subject you may be considering doing, but you're not quite sure whether it's the right choice for you, subject teachers are great to talk to. Some of them will really want you in their class and they'll be pushing you to do it, but they do give a really honest answer of how they think that you'd maybe do, and give a really realistic response as well. So talk to them about maybe some of the challenges that there might be, and whether they think that you can overcome it and how you'll kind of perform as well. And they can really support you, help you make that decision. Think about the assignments as well. All these qualifications are kind of assigned different ways. So a lot of them will be really purely exams, especially in A-level. However, some A-levels do have a bit of coursework in there as well. So think about those and how you kind of perform. Sometimes that can help you make your decision. I know some of my friends who were really science based, they really enjoyed science, but they took more of an art subject as their third option, just because they knew that it was going to be a lot of exams and they wanted that little bit of a break by doing a little bit of coursework as well. You might not be like that, but think about all those things and how to manage it, and do talk to those teachers and they'll be able to support you with those options. If you're doing well at the moment too, the likelihood is you'll probably do really well at A-level, and the likelihood is you're probably enjoying it, because usually if you enjoy something, you put a lot more effort into it. So think about that too, because if you get good grades, that might leave more options open to you as well. So you'll have more universities that you might be able to apply to, and more careers afterwards as well, maybe too. It's really important to find the balance with this too, you know, what's going to leave the most doors open for you. If you know a career that you want to do at the moment, you might change your mind. You've still got 2 years to really kind of decide what you want to do and do work experience to find out if that's the right thing for you. So it is really important to find that balance as well. And if you do want to try something new, I definitely recommend it. I ended up doing psychology and I absolutely loved it. So do the research and find out whether it is something that you will enjoy. Universities are really good and they do things called subject tasters. So you can often go to those and hear from universities and academics about the subjects that they're doing, and get a bit of an insight into what it would be like studying at higher level. This might help you decide what you want to do at university and A-level as well. So ask friends, ask family, go to subject tasters and ask universities too. We're always more than happy to help. And if you do know that you want to do a specific career, or you really are dead set on going to university, that's absolutely amazing. And that's going to really help you kind of make your decisions too. And make sure that you do thoroughly research that. So look at things like prospects.ac.uk. They've got some really good information on different careers and how people have got to that career, but also what degrees there are and what people have gone to do after completing those degrees too. So have a look at all that information. There might be different pathways you've maybe not considered, and it can really help you make sure you're choosing the right options that leave the different options available for you. There might be a specific pathway as well for specific careers or vocations. For example, if you want to be a doctor, you will have to go and study medicine. So that can really help determine what you go to do at A-levels or other qualifications, and can really help you make that decision. As well as that, some university degrees do require subject-specific requirements, some don't. So have a look at the different options. I know when I was thinking about going to university, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do drama, English, or psychology at first. So I made sure I looked at all 3 courses, so I could see if any of them had subject-specific requirements, and that helped me choose my A-levels. I made sure I chose English, so I could go and do English language at university if I decided that was the one I wanted to do. But I also did psychology, so I had that science element if I did decide to go on that pathway too. As well as that, if you are thinking about doing the degree and they do require subject-specific requirements, you do need to meet them. It is a requirement, and they usually aren't as lenient. It does differ sometimes from university to university, but it's worth bearing that in mind too. So if you're choosing your A-levels and you have no idea what to do, you don't know what to do for your A-levels, don't know what to do afterwards, like I said, lots of people feel the same, so please do not worry. Just keep those options open for yourself. Lots of careers and degrees don't have specific subject requirements, so you can get into lots of different degrees. Have a look online and see all the different options available for you. And lots of careers do ask for just the undergraduate degree rather than a subject-specific one. However, remember, some do ask for the subject-specific degrees, and it's usually sciences that they ask for. So keep those options open and maybe consider doing a science or two, just so you've got different pathways that you can consider. Choose the things you really enjoy if all else fails as well. That will make sure that you're always engaged and you do push yourself. And as well as that, if you really enjoy it, more than likely you'll want to use the same skills and do the same things in a career or at university. So it's setting you up for that as well. So it's a really good thing to bear in mind too. If you really can't decide what to do, I know it can be really difficult, but make a pros and cons list. This can really help you. You can revisit it, go over the questions that we talked about before, and that can really help you make your decision. Talk to teachers and carers, careers advisors as well. They're really helpful. You know, it's their job to know about lots of different pathways. They might have a career that they've come across that they think might be a really good option for you, or might be a really good degree for you to do as well, that you've maybe not even heard about before. You know, they've got a lot of knowledge there, and they're there to help you, so make use of it. Ask friends and family too. They'll be in the same lessons as you, some of your friends. They'll know that what you really enjoy, what they think that you maybe would be good at, some of the qualities that you might not be used to hearing that you're good at as well. I think a lot of people are very humble and don't kind of speak up about what they're really good at, and hearing a friend tell you what they think that you're really amazing at doing, or family members, can really help you reflect on that as well. Family members is a really great one too, because they'll have different things. They've got a lot more experience, life experience, and can talk about the different options that would suit you too. Talk to universities as well. You know, we're here to help all the way through your journey. And if there is anything that you're kind of considering and not quite sure about, we can kind of guide you with different books that you could maybe read to get an insight into those subjects. If all else fails, a good sleep always helps kind of put your mind at ease. So sleep on it, and then reflect in the morning to decide what's the right path for you, and do your research as well. After today's talk, you know, go and speak to your careers advisor or teachers. Talk to us if you want to as well. Go through, make those pros and cons lists, do a bit of research into the subject if you're thinking about trying something new. The more research you do, the more informed you'll feel about your next pathway, and you'll make sure that you're making the right decision for you as well. So in summary of today's session, remember it's never too early to start thinking about your future. If you don't know, that's absolutely fine, but think about a few options that you maybe have, think about what you're enjoying, and that can really help guide you when you are choosing your post-16 choices. They can have a big impact on your future as well. Remember, some things require subject-specific information and qualifications. So making sure that you are aware of those and keep your options open by maybe taking them can help you have as many options open to you if you aren't sure what to do after A-levels or post-16 choices as well. Use different techniques to help you make those decisions as well. Make those pros and cons lists, talk to people, ask yourself questions, ask your teachers if they've got anything that they would recommend you do as well. They'll have some really bright ideas of things that can help you make those decisions. Ask for help if you're really not sure as well. I think that we're all a little bit guilty sometimes of not asking for help because we don't want to ask silly questions, but no question is a silly question. So please don't be worried. Just ask those questions and ask for support if you do need it. And then research. The more research that you do, the more happy you'll feel in your decision that you make. The last thing you want to do is make a decision that you want to do something like engineering and not have the right qualifications to get into that. So do your research, and that will really help you feel confident in the next step. So that is the end of my talk. If you do have any questions, do feel free to get in touch with us. Remember, like I said, we're here to help, and you can get in touch with us by using the link that's on the screen, www.le.ac.uk/chat. On there, you'll find loads of academic staff. You'll find me on there too, and some of my colleagues. But you'll also find ambassadors on there, so students who are doing different courses that you might be considering. And also they've got really helpful blogs that you can look at as well. That can really help you make those decisions. They can recommend things to look at too, and tell you a little bit about their experience when they were deciding what to study as well. But have a look at all that information and do get in touch with us at www.le.ac.uk/chat if you do have any questions. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.